Hello, you guys. Vertigo, Ben here, and gonna be doing another video, obviously. Flying this time, just pure flying. No tutorials or real guided instruction. Um, we're on the ground at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, and we're going to be flying from here, Phoenix, to Los Angeles. As you can see, it's nighttime, so it'll be a night flight, of course. We're in the PMDG NGX, the 800, 737-800 in the Delta colors. As you can see, tail numbers November 3, 8, and 9 are Delta Alpha. So it should be fairly routine. Our routing today is via the ISO 3 departure messy transition, J4, which is an airway, to the 29 Palms transition for the Cebu 2 arrival. It looks like we'll be departing to the west because the wind right now is 240 at 5 knots. Going up to flight level 320, so not too high. It's a short flight. PFPX has the estimated time of the trip to be 53 minutes, which is rather short. Release fuel is 12,000, just over 12,000 pounds. We do have ATC. Albuquerque Center is online with an ATIS up for Phoenix, and Los Angeles Center is online with an ATIS up for Los Angeles. So if they stay online, we'll have ATC for the entire way, which will be great. So let's head into the flight deck and get this show on the road. Alright guys, welcome into the flight deck. As you can see, we're completely cold and dark, so we'll hop up to the overhead here, and we'll grab our battery. It's tough for me to see with the glare here. Holy cow, I can't see a thing, it's so dark. I'll find it. There's the battery. Alright, battery on. We will arm the emergency exit lights. And let's connect ground power. Whoops, wrong hotkey. That's a bit better. Ground power, air conditioning. There we are. Logo light can go on. Let's get some panel lighting as well. Get these lights on, and we'll do the same down here on the pedestal. Okay, so our lighting is set. We have ground connections, we have ground power. That's good to go. We can align the IRSs, that would be a good idea. And let those start aligning. And let's go ahead and adjust the lighting on the displays here, and then we can get into the FMS and get some fuel and get our passengers on board. Okay. So our release fuel, as I was mentioning earlier, is 12,126 pounds. And our payload, we aren't too heavy today. Our zero fuel weight is 118.4. Great. So we can close up our doors at this point. And our cargo doors are already closed. All good to go there. I will retract the jetway. We no longer need it. At this point, quick overhead flow. Get our belts on. Window heat. Packs can stay off. Isolation valve open. All the bleeds are on. That's fine. Our flight level is 320, so we'll set that in the pressurization panel, and we will call for clearance. Let's have a look. Albuquerque Center 127.85. I'm a little scared that they might be going offline because the ATIS just disappeared. So fingers crossed they're still around. Sounds like they're offline. Oh, wait, no, here we go. So let's give them a call. Call sign is Delta 1363. Albuquerque, good evening. Delta 1363 IFR to Los Angeles.
Delta 1363 Albuquerque Center. Good night. You're clear to the Los Angeles International Airport is a 3 departure messy transition that is filed. Climb via the SID departure will be on this frequency, squawk 0765.
Delta 1363 is cleared to the Los Angeles International Airport. ISO 3 departure, messy transition, then is filed. Climb via SID, departure with you, squawking 0765.
And Delta 1363, readback is correct. Expect runway 25 right for departure, call frequency for taxi. The Phoenix altimeter 2979er.
Alright, thanks for the weather, and we'll give you a call for taxi, Delta 1363. Okay, so our clearance is as I was expecting. We've inserted our squawk here. We'll continue to monitor his frequency. And we're good to go down here on the pedestal. He told us we can expect runway 25 right, and he gave us the altimeter. So let's get into the FMS and plan this flight. We're on the ground at Phoenix. We'll grab our GPS position here to properly align the IRS, which it now is. And our routing, Phoenix to Los Angeles. Delta 1363. Going in the flight number there. Runway for departure is 25 right. Departure is the ISO 3 messy transition. And the arrival... Actually, let me do some work on the routing before I touch anything else. ISO 3 messy to messy, and then I'll grab PFPX. So it's ISO 3 messy. We spit out at messy, join the J4, which is a upper altitude airway, and take the J4 then to join the arrival, which will be the Cebu 2. They don't have a transition attached to it. Okay, so then I actually need to put one other thing. I thought the 29 Palms transition was already in there, which it actually is. Okay, that's the only transition you got then. Whoops. Cebu 2 for, I'm predicting it'll be the ILS 25 left. Let's see, we're arriving at gate 59. And gate 59 is, sure enough, that is just off of taxiway Charlie on the south side of the terminal. So 25 left will be our runway. And we're on the Cebu transition. So that should be good to go. ISO 3 messy to join the J4 29 Palms transition. Yeah, perfect. Activate, execute, then we'll hop into the legs page here and we'll cross-reference all these fixes to make sure that they're fine. So 258 heading to Keens to ISO to messy, and then direct 29 Palms. There, now that filled in the scratch pad. And we will take that. That's good to go. And just quickly cross-reference these fixes with PFPX. Keens, ISO, messy. We're actually missing one VOR, believe it or not. There should be one more on the J4 that we don't have, which is the Parker VOR. So let me put in the Parker VOR. Papa, Kilo, Echo. That's a little more like it. Okay. Strange that that didn't insert automatically, because it should have. At any rate, Keens, ISO, messy, Parker VOR, 29 Palms VOR, and then the arrival. Taking a look over here. Palma arrived. Consul at 17,280 knots. Engley at or above 16,000. Peacocks at or above 14,000. Kata, Cebu between 12,000 and 14,000. And then we would get vectors at that point, or we'd be cleared for the approach, and we have these various fixes. So good stuff, good stuff. That's a good flight plan. Zero fuel weight, 118.4. That is correct. There's no issues with that. Our reserve fuel, let's see what PFPX has for us here in terms of our reserves. Final reserve is 2.2. 2,200 pounds. We'll use a cost index of 38. Flight level 320. Won't bother with the cruise wind. Transition altitude 18,000 is good to go. I'll use good old Topcat here to calculate some takeoff performance off runway 25 right. With flaps 5, let's calculate that. Alright, we have a 22K D rate with an assumed OAT of 43. Perfect. Flaps 5 for departure. Our CG is 23%, which gives us a trim of 5.3, and our V-speeds are 134, 135, 139. Great. So set the brake. We'll start up the APU. Set the MCP. V2 is 139. Initial heading out of Phoenix here is 258. The initial altitude is 8,000 feet. Auto brake RTO, we'll get the flight directors up, VOR bugs up, terrain, data, and traffic. Do the same over here. And we can set the altimeter. He gave us 29er, 79er. Let me just check my METAR to make sure that that is that matches with what I have. It does, so we'll set 29er, 79er. 29er, 79er is set. And we can arm VNAV and LNAV since it's an RNAV departure. And at this point, we'll wait for the APU to come up, which it almost is ready. There it is. APU is available. Transfer power to the APU. Disconnect ground power. Yaw damper can come on. And we'll get rid of some of these ground connections at this point. Pitot covers, air conditioning, ground power, and chocks can all go. Good stuff. Open the rest of our fuel pumps. I don't think we have any fuel in the center tank. We don't. I'll call over GSX to push us back. We'll be handled by Delta, and we'll want to face nose right, tail left. That is correct. Anti-collision light on, fuel pumps open, packs are off, isolation valve is set to open. Set our transponder to mode Charlie here, auto, since we'll be pushing onto an active be taxiing shortly. And we're ready to go.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Wait for them to hitch up the tow truck to the gear, or the tow to the gear. And we'll push back with our tail back here, and we'll be facing that way. And then taxi will take us out. We'll make 2 rights and a left for 25 right. We actually need to get to the other side of the terminal. Right now we are on the let's see. Right now we're on the
Departure check completed. Bypass bin
pointing
inserted.
to the west.
Release parking brakes.
So right now we're on the north side of the terminal, and we need to get over to the south side of the terminal. And they gave us clearance to start. We'll start number 2. Fuel going into engine number 2. You can see while the engine's starting, there's our departure, if you can see that down there. It's basically just straight out runway heading to Keens, and then Izzo, and then a slight right to Messi, and then on course. Good start on number 2, and we'll bring up number 1.
Set parking brakes.
Fuel going into engine number 1. So we'll wait for a good start on number 1, and then we will go through the after start flows. What a nice night for flying. Beautiful out here in Phoenix. Well, as beautiful as Phoenix can be, Phoenix is a little I'm a little lukewarm on desert environments. I like green areas, but we'll take it. There's a good start on engine number 1. Everything looks good. We'll transfer power to the engine generators. We can can the APU. APU bleed can go. Packs back on. Isolation valve to auto. Electric hydraulics can come on. Probe heat can come on. We'll set our flaps for takeoff. So 1, 2, and 5.
Left is clear.
Set our trim for
Right is
takeoff.
clear.
Takeoff trim is 5.30, so let's try and get that kind of close. Right about there should work. So trim is set, flaps are set. Have a quick check of the flight controls. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Flight controls look great. We got 2 good starts. We're in good shape. Throw that taxi light on. Transponder's already set mode Charlie. So, with all that done, we're ready for taxi. So let me get rid of this overhead lighting. And we can give him a call. Center, Delta 1363 with the weather ready for taxi.
Delta 1363, runway 25 right. Taxi via Charlie, Sierra, Delta, Echo, Echo 13.
Runway 25 right via Charlie, Sierra, Delta, Echo, Echo 13, Delta 1363. Okay, and we've been given our clearance to taxi. And let's see, yeah, so right-hand turn Charlie, right-hand turn Sierra, left-hand turn Delta, and then all the way down to Echo 13. So, yeah, we're ready to go. We're in good shape. Got a hop in our step. We're feeling great. So yeah, there's no real point in me showing you guys this entire taxi. It's just taxiing the plane. So I will see you guys at the runway. Alright guys, welcome back. We're just approaching the runway here. There's the Southwest terminal. 25 right here at Echo 13, so we'll get our weather radar on. Auto throttle armed. Engine starters continuous. Transponder TARA. And we're ready to go. We'll give them a call, let them know that we're fully ready. Wait for this guy. Delta 1363 holding short 25 right at Echo 13, fully ready.
Delta 1363, roger, wind 250 at 5, runway 25 right, clear for takeoff.
25 right cleared for takeoff, Delta 1363. Okay, cleared to go, strobe on, landing lights, turn-offs, and I will start the clock down here if I can find the click spot. It's kind of difficult to find. There it is. Let's go. That click spot's difficult to reach, regardless, especially at night when you have limited visibility within the flight deck. 40%. Engine stable. Toga. Airspeed alive. Thrust set. 80 knots. Thrust sold.
V1. Rotate. V2.
There we go. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. LNAV. And 1 VNAV speed. our acceleration height through 1500.
So 1363 radar contacts altitude leaving.
We're through 3.4 Delta 1363.
Delta 1363, roger, climb, maintain flight level 320.
Flight level 320, Delta 1363. Alrighty. Autopilot's in, speed checked, flaps 1. Set our altitude up to 320. Speed checked, flaps up. Set that gear to the off position. Auto brake can go off. Flaps are retracted. Engine starters can go off, and we can get rid of some of these lights. Keep the fixed landing lights on till 10K, and we're off and away. Can enjoy the view. Night lighting looks quite nice. Very, very nice, in fact. Yeah, that's nice looking. Sweet. Into a nice steady climb here, maintaining 250 till we get above 10,000 feet. As you can see, it's a little bumpy coming out of here. A light amount of turbulence, which coming out of areas like Phoenix and Las Vegas, where higher elevations, generally that's not too uncommon to have a bit more unstable air. Denver as well would be a good example of that. So we'll kill the lights at 10K, reset the altimeter at 18,000, and we'll be off. See, there's some mountainous areas off there to our left. I don't know if that's a particular mountain range or if that's just, you know, those are just glorified hills. I'm not from Arizona, so wouldn't be familiar with the area. Looks kind of nice though.
Albuquerque Center, Southwest 2356, flight level 00.
That looks really nice, that view.
Southwest 2356, Albuquerque Center, roger, welcome aboard.
Yeah, flight sim is particularly rewarding when you get some cool views like this. Alrighty, we're through 10K. Landing lights going off. Did I hit that? I can't even tell. It's so dark in the flight deck. Yeah, those are off. Good stuff. So we'll be with Albuquerque for another 80 miles, and then we'll go over to Los Angeles.
Southwest 2356, descend to the Bruiser 1 arrival. Expect vectors for the visual, runway 26 approach. The Phoenix altimeter is 2979er.
Alright, we'll descend right at the Bruiser on arrival for the visual 26, and copy altimeter Southwest 2356.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. I think we're due for another wing view. Due for another wing view. It's just assumed at this point that you're gonna have wing views if you're doing flight sim content. You can see that little bit of, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a little bit of wing flex right there, which obviously PMDG is well known for. Top of climb is just out there before Messy. You can see it there. So, you know, that's what, roughly 70 nautical miles, give or take. to flight level 320, nautical miles. It's indicated there in the FMS. Nice rate of climb though, 3,000 feet per minute is not bad. Granted, we're a little bit lighter, but yeah, that's actually a pretty nice rate of climb. There's set a power plant out there. Getting some artifacting, but yeah, I think that's a power plant. Or some really bizarre large, like huts. That's kind of cool actually, I like that. Just coming up on our transition altitude here. There is 18,000, standardized the altimeter, and we're totally cleaned up. This aircraft doesn't really need to be touched till we're getting ready for descent. So, yeah, that was a fun little departure. Real pretty there, coming out of the Phoenix area with that night lighting. It looked really nice. So I'm going to kick back for a while we cruise, and I will see you guys as we're getting ready, or as we're preparing for our descent. Enjoy the flight. Welcome back. So we've been cruising for a little while. Since we departed, it's been about 27 minutes, so not too long. You can see our top of descent is coming up in just about, just over 40 miles out, and we got a pretty strong headwind. So let's go ahead and prep for this descent, shall we? First things first, let's set our MCP altitude down. So we're going to need to be crossing Collinsville at 17,000, so I'll set 17,000 on the MCP here. Next we can set our pressurization panel, set our landing altitude at Los Angeles. It's about 150 feet, so we'll set 150. That is done. ILS frequency and course. The frequency for 25 left is 109.9. Set that in both of our nav radios. And the inbound course is 251, so we'll set that as well. On both sides of the MCP here in the course selection. So ILS frequency and course is set. We have 11,000 feet of runway, so we'll just use an auto brake of 1. Don't need anything more than that. Minimums will be 304, Barrow 304, so we'll set 304 here. That is done. Good stuff. We can quickly brief the approach, just very, very loosely. We can step through real quickly here, in fact. So 29 Palms, Palma arrived, and then various fixes. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. Consul, Engeli, Peacocks, Kata, Sivu, and then various fixes, and this is just straight in at this point onto onto the approach for 25 left. All our altitude restrictions are in there. Console at 280, 17,000. Engley at or above 16,000. Peacock's at or above 14,000. Sivu at 14,000. And then we have some altitude constraints here on the transition onto the ILS. So nothing too wild. Fairly routine. Let's see, is a Sivu 2 an RNAV? No, this is not an RNAV arrival. So the last thing to do is we can just calculate our landing speed. So let's take a look at the progress page. Looks like we're going to lose about 1,000 pounds of fuel, so I'll set 124.8. Whoa, that didn't go right. 124.8. That's a bit more like it. Flaps 30, landing speed will be 138 knots, and then we'll correct for the wind. Weather right now at Los Angeles. Wind is 270 at 8 knots, 34 Celsius. It's hot as hell. Good viz, clear skies. Altimeter's 2980, so it should be fairly routine. Nothing too tricky about this approach, but Los Angeles at night is always fun. So yeah, we still have a little ways till top of descent. Just over 20 miles, and then we'll need to be going down a little ways before we're getting anywhere close to landing. So enjoy the rest of the flight, guys, and I will see you all as we're getting near the ground. Alright guys, welcome back. We're getting close to Los Angeles, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed when I was capturing some footage to fill in the in-between stages, or the stage, you know, in between where I'm talking and we're cruising. It's the middle of the night and you could see shadows moving across the ground. That's the clouds, you know, crossed over the moon, or crossed in front of the moon even, which is just absolutely absurd. I had a good laugh at that. Maybe you noticed that as well. Anyway, we're about to be, let's see, how far? Just about 40 miles from the field. About to be over Sivu here. And you can see a little goofy there when we cross over. Wants us to immediately, you know, we lose the vertical navigation path. So what we're going to have to do is catch up. So I'm going to pull some speed brake to get a better rated descent going. And I'm going to have to use speed intervene as well to get us back on profile. So let's get the speed brake out. We reset the altimeter to the local setting, which is set 250 here on the speed, which is local altimeter setting is 29090, so that's set. Otherwise, there's not a lot to note. See, we're just over Sivu. We need to be at or above 10,000 here by Lovin, and then just a bunch of restraints on our way down, and it's nothing too crazy. And it's basically just a massive, like, you know, 35-mile final. There's probably some planes on the ground at Los Angeles. It's a Thursday night, so there actually aren't, believe it or not. I'm slightly surprised by that, but okay. Alrighty, we can put that speed brake away since we've caught back up to our profile. There we are. And we're turning onto that long final. Yeah, I think the night textures in P3D are a little off because things just look too bright. Too bright at night. You can see too much, which, as far as content creation goes, is kind of a good thing. Because in that sense, night flights can be somewhat, I don't want to say boring isn't the right word, but somewhat lackluster, just in the sense that a little, it's tough to see stuff, so naturally it's you know, there's less visually appealing to draw one to a video, but with all that said, you kind of want it to look dark at night, which it only sort of does, but oh well. That's another issue for another time. There's 10K, we'll keep the altitude going down. What's our next restriction is 9,000. You know, this is in the FMS, it'll hold all these, I don't need to step it down one by one. So I'm just gonna set the missed approach altitude, which is 2,000 feet. And we're under 10,000 feet, so fixed landing lights are on. And I'm going to set our speed down to 240 and pull out some speed brake. Because it looks like we'll need it. Yeah, quite turbulent coming into Los Angeles. And it always is. Anytime you come into LA from the east, it's always a bit bumpy coming over the mountains there. The way the air flows down just creates weather patterns like that. That's a pretty nice view. So we'll keep the speed at 240 here, and then once we're over Dimo or Fuller, I'll reduce down to 210, and then about 10 miles from the field we'll reduce down to 180, and then final approach speed is next after that. Still not picking up the localizer or the ILS yet, that's okay. Or still not picking up the localizer or the glide slope, I should say. We are identifying the ILS, you can see right here. India Mike Kilo Zulu. That is indeed the identifier. And we're what, 28 DME? That's about right. 25 left. There's the localizer, so we will grab that. .14 knot headwind, so ground speed staying fairly low because of that. And let's start to wind that speed down a bit. We're under 250 knots, so I'll take flaps 1. I think you can just now start to see downtown Los Angeles out there. Yeah, there's downtown LA. Oh, and now we're picking up the glide slope, so I will grab approach. There, we captured the glide. I will reduce our speed down to 180. Go ahead and take flaps 5. Speed's coming down fairly nicely. Set our engine start switches to continuous. And I'm going to slowly start to bring us off that speed brake. And we're in good shape. Nice and stable. Not coming in too fast. Altitude is perfect. You can see there's a little hang here as it brings an FS Dream Team LAX, which you can just now see out there in the distance. There's our runway right there. There's 25 right, there's 25 left where we'll be landing. We'll be parking on this south terminal, the south side terminal down here. There are the 24s. Still don't see anyone on the ground at LAX on VATSIM, so I don't think we need to be worried about traffic. Once we're over Honda here, I'll drop the gear. In fact, we can even wait a little bit beyond Honda. You want to drop your gear about 8 to 10 miles from the field. You don't want to drop it too early by any means, but you don't want to drop it late either. You got to find that balance. Alright then, gear down, speed brake armed, flaps 15. Landing speed landing speed 138. Winds at Los Angeles are reporting at 10 knots. Radio altimeter is alive. Get the rest of our landing lights, turn-offs, and taxi light on. So we'll add 10 knots to 138, make it 148 on the approach speed. Go around altitude is set 2,000 feet. Reduce down to final approach speed now, 148 knots. So, pressure set to 990. All our lights are on. Standing by on flaps. Engine starters continuous, speed brake armed. Gear down, go around altitude set, landing speed set. So once these flaps are out, we'll be fully configured. Speed checked, flaps 30, and we're ready. I think you guys will notice that the taxiway lighting at Los Angeles here is really bright. It looks too large. Once you're on the ground, it looks better, but when you're approaching and still in the air, it looks off. So, for whatever that's worth. Alrighty, field is in sight. We're stable. Fully configured to land. I will grab control of the aircraft. Flight directors are out. And auto throttle is out. 1,000 feet is checked. We're stable and continuing. Landing. A little bit of a float there. You see that headwind's carrying us. There we are. Reversers are out. Decel. And yeah, runway textures, the 3D lighting does not like it. 80 knots reversers still. So the 3D lighting here at Los Angeles does not, or the 3D lighting of the NGX, I should say, does not behave with the textures that FS Dream Team uses. So you get that blue lighting effect on the runways. It's pretty harsh. But I researched the issue, and there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do. So you know, you just live with it. And LAX looks so nice. It looks so nice at night that I'm willing to deal with that minor issue in order to fly in. So strobe off, lights off. Engine. Whoops. Meant to click the APU. APU's been started. Engine start switches are set to off. We can stop the clock. 1 hour. Auto brake is off. Speed brake and the flaps are stowed. Transponder is set auto. Get rid of our weather radar, traffic, terrain data. And we're good to go. We are cleaned up. So we will park at gate 59. That would be terminal 5. Yeah, that landing was a little floaty, but float is okay as long as you're down safely. We didn't float anywhere far enough to go missed. Or long enough, I guess. You'd float long. But, yeah. Alright, so we'll make a left up here at Charlie 9, and then another right onto Charlie for just a moment, and then park up at gate 59. That was a fun flight, you know, I had a lot of fun. I don't fly into Los Angeles at night all that often, and if anybody saw my flight from Seattle to Los Angeles a little while, several months ago actually, you would remember that when we landed at Los Angeles, Cockpit, the system that works FS Dream Team and FS Dream Team and Flightbeam airports crashed, and I was pretty bummed out. Cockpit released a bunch of updates, and I've also changed. Part of me wondered if Orbix night lighting had something to do with it. I could be totally wrong. It's just some bizarre theory I had. But I no longer have Orbix products, and Cockpit released those updates. So one of those things fixed the issues I was having, and I can now fly into and out of Los Angeles with night lighting activated and have no issues. So, yay. We will set our brakes. Come up here, we'll get our dome light on if I can find dome light. There it is. Alrighty, let's go to the APU gens. Transponder is fine. Whoa! Oh, we parked so well that he's doing the Macarena. I'm sure some of you have heard if you get perfect parking in GSX, the guy will do the Macarena. Look at that. They even play the music. Sweet. That's too cool. Awesome. Alrighty, electric hydraulics, probe heat, window heat. Yaw damper can go. APU bleed should be on at this point. Packs can go off. Isolation valve we will set to open, and we'll get some ground connections going. Bring over the jetway as well. Open some doors and deboard the aircraft. Let's go to ground power, get rid of the APU, and we are sitting pretty and looking fine. There she is, guys. There she is. So, what angle looks the best? There's too many angles to try. Too many angles to try. We'll go with that one. Anyway, that's the flight. Done. Completed. Phoenix to Los Angeles with some VATSIM. It was a lot of fun. I know I had a great time flying. I hope you guys enjoyed the flight as well. Yeah. So look out for my streams. I stream on Twitch if you have any interest. Shameless self-plugs here. Feel free to check out my social media links. I have a Twitter, a Facebook, and as I mentioned, Twitch. So, yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video, whenever that may be. So long, everyone.